So in this video, I'm going to explain how to convert from decimal numbers to binary numbers. But I want to first talk about what a decimal number is and like what the places represent. Decimal means 10, like base 10. It's a base 10 number, and I'm using the digits 0 through 9. There's 10 of those. That's why it's base 10. So I'm only using these digits, and I can write out whatever number I want with these. But I want to say maybe for something like 324, there are places I have. This would be the ones place, which would be the 10 to the 0 place. So I'll do that in a different color, because 10 to the 0 is 1. And then this is the tens place. That would be 10 to the 1. And then this would be the 100s place, which is 10 to the 2. So if I write it like this, then this is telling me I have 4 of these 10 to the 0s, so 4 ones. And I have 2 of the 10 to the 1s. Well, that's just 2 times 10. That's 20. I have 20. And then here I have 3 10 squareds, which is 3 times 100. So I have 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 4 ones to make 324. In binary, or it would be base 2 instead of base 10. So I would have something like this: 2 to the 0 for the first place, and then 2 to the 1, and so forth, all the way up. So in binary, we have the base 2, and I already know that I need 9 spots to hold that, so I go from 0 to 8 for powers of 2. So a quick way to convert 324 to binary would be to know what these powers of 2 actually are. And I'm going to write them out real quick. You don't have to know this. I mean, you can. It's really easy to figure out. But I'm going to write out the powers of 2, and it will help me convert. So those are all the powers of 2. And I'm just going to go through and try and figure out what this number is in binary. And I'm only using powers of 2, so how can I write it with powers of 2? And this is my my 2 to the 0 place, which is just the ones place. And this is my 2 to the ones place, my twos place. And this would be my 2 to the twos place, so my fours place. And then my eights place. And then my 16ths place. So we're going to go through and see if we can get it. So the way that I'm going to do it here is I'm going to do it in a different way after this, but this way I think is nice to understand. So I have my number that I want to convert is 324, and I'm just going to go up one more power of 2 just to illustrate something. So 2 to the 9th. Remember, in binary, 2 to the 9th is 512, but in binary I can only have a 0 or a 1. That's all I can use. So if I'm trying to write out 324, I'm going to start out with my 2 to the 9th spot. 512 is already too big, so I can't have like a 2 to the 9th. So my 2 to the 9th spot is empty. I don't actually need that. My 2 to the 8th place, which is my 256, that is smaller than this, so that works out, and that will be. So I'm going to say I'm going to use one of those. If I have 2 of those, well, actually, I can't. I can either use 0 or I can use one of these places. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just going through, and so like this would be 0, or you don't have to write anything out in front. But I'm trying to see how many of these I need. Either do I need it or do I not need it? Because 0 is meaning that you don't need it, and 1 means that you do need it. So I'm going to change that to a 1. Because that means I'll have 256. I'll have a value of 256. Now, do I need my 2 to the 7th? Well, if I have 256 already, and I include a 128, and I add those together, that gives me 384, which is too big. So I don't want a 2 to the 7th. So I'm going to put a 0 there, because I don't want any of those. Because if I do use that, it'll be too big. So right now I have 256 and if I put zeros for all the rest of these, then that number would be the binary number that represents 256 in base 10. So I'm going to go back to 256, and then do I need my 64 spot? Well, 256 plus 64, that's 320. So that's small enough. I do want that. And then now I'm looking at, okay, if I add, now I have 320. Do I add 32? No, that's already bigger. So I will take 0 of the 32 spot, the 2 to the 5th spot. Add 16, that's too big. Add 8, that's too big, because I have 320 right now. I have 256 plus 64, that's 320. And I want 324. And then, oh, I have the 2 to the 2 spot, my 4. That's all I need. And then I have 0, 0. So this number is 324 in binary. Now there's a mathematical process that you can go through. I mean, this is mathematical also, but this might be a little bit more confusing to some people. So I'm going to do it a different way and show you what happens. Some people are thinking like, wait a minute, this is a 4. Can't we just have 2 of those? Well, we can't have 2 because we're only allowed to have either 0 or 1 in each spot. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, oh, wait a minute, 24, can't we just have 3 8s? No, we can't have 3 8s because we can only have 0 or 1 of each of these places. So 324, this is base 2. That's the same thing as 324 in base 10. Hopefully that makes sense. In the next video, I'm going to do it a different way.